you know, you're not being your best friend right now. You're being your frenemy, okay? You're being your frenemy. Don't do that. Don't do that. Hello, my name is June, and today I'm going to be doing a get ready with me. I've already started a little bit. I forgot to hit record. That's okay. I have some eye primer on. I put on this shade here. This is from the original Blend Bunnies palette in the shade Truth. And I just put that all over my lid. I do have Tightline on, and that's it so far. I'm going to be going in with these two shades here and maybe this shade. Yeah, and today I'm going to be talking about all of the sales that are going on right now. And it's not to discourage anyone from buying anything, but it's just to encourage people to maybe take a breath and reevaluate what their actual goals are, what their financial goals are, what their makeup goals are, or maybe not even makeup, just like beauty and health related. And if participating in sales like the current ones going on right now, I know there's one on Amazon, I know Ulta is having some things go on sale, probably Sephora. There's a lot of things, a lot of sales right now going on because it's end of June, beginning of July, so mid-year sales. But I'm gonna get started on my eye look and going in with this little tiny brush into this shade here, Catnap. I think it's from the Dieverune Cosmetics Smitten palette, I believe. Sales like the ones currently going on, instead of a semi-annual event, it's more like a quarterly event. And the sales are okay, they're fine. Some are better than others. And maybe you've had things on your wish list for a really long time, and now they're on sale and you can go ahead and buy them, and that's fine. But it's when we start putting things in our cart and start adding things that we're just not necessarily not on our wish list, but just a fun thing that we could buy, you know. And I don't know everyone's financial situation, and you know, you might be very, very blessed and have a very, very, very large budget for wants, because all makeup and all beauty products, all of them, every single one are wants. They are wants, they are not needs, okay? Most people cannot afford to be so frivolous during sales. And sales are happening so much more often, I think, than they used to. And that's great, but it's not necessarily great for our wallets. Oftentimes we're ending up buying things, we're buying more things than we would if we had just bought in the one single thing that we wanted to stock up on when it was its original price. So, for example, in my own life, I don't stock up on skincare. I don't stock up on makeup either, but I don't stock up on skincare, especially because, you know, my skin changes a lot, and the environment that I'm in changes often enough to where sometimes my skin is very oily, sometimes it's very dry, sometimes it's super, super sensitive, sometimes it's not as sensitive. Am I going to buy a skincare product for every temperament my skin has? That would be so much product. That would be so much product. And I wouldn't be able to use it all. And you know, whether or not you're a stickler for using up all of your product, you probably want to see your money grow in your bank account, and it'll do that faster if you don't spend it on so many wants. There's not really an issue spending it on wants. And I think depending on, you know, the kind of financial advice that you get, I think it's like 20% of your paycheck can go to wants, or maybe it was 30%, I don't know. And usually you'll probably still end up being able to save for retirement, buy your necessities, blah, 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 all those things. Depending, you know, like there are so many people, you know, who probably can't afford to do that. So it's just important, I guess, to take a step back before buying things to think about what your priorities are. And so when I started, okay, for the sake of this video, to make it condensed, I will use terms like no buy, low buy, project pan, even though I'm not officially doing any of those things. I'm not putting that label on myself of I'm a project panner, I'm a no buy, low buyer. I don't know. I do those things. I don't want to necessarily put a label on it because I don't want to hold myself to something that, you know, priorities change all of the time. How I'm living my life changes all of the time. And right now in my life, doing things like a project pan or just using up what I have, not buying new things, even when they're on sale, aligns with my personal goals and my lifestyle. Is it difficult to do these things? Yeah, it is. There's so many things on sale right now that I definitely want. And the big word is want. I do not need any of this stuff. I don't need any of it. Okay, I'm going in with a small little one of these brushes into this shade here. I think this is another Dieverune Cosmetics shade. Yes, it's Morose Magnolia from, what palette is that? I don't remember which palette it's from, but it's from Dieverune Cosmetics, and I'm just gonna go on my lash line. One of the things that has been really great about doing project pan and that kind of thing, and just, you know, not watching so many videos and content on new releases, because like what's the point of looking at them? You know, what's the point of watching videos about new releases when I'm probably not going to be able to afford it? But you know, it's important to set up your life around your goals. And so I stopped watching so much content revolving around new products. And that really helped just in me achieving the goals that I set out to achieve. And you know, I didn't have to guilt myself or shame myself into being like, oh, I want this product, I'm a bad person, or I need to put myself down so that I don't buy this product or anything like that. Like, you shouldn't be putting yourself down. Like, you shouldn't be guilting yourself into not doing something. It should just be more pragmatic. Like, not everything needs to be you're either a good person or you're a bad person for doing things, for like being a normal human being of wanting things and not being super happy when you can't buy everything that you want. Like, that's a normal feeling. That's a normal reaction. And you're not a bad person for feeling it, and you're not a good person for denying yourself something and making yourself feel bad. I don't know. There's a lot of different reactions that I have seen people have to not buying things, and not, like, I don't know, just odd things. I'm like, you don't need to make yourself feel badly. I'm just going to go back in with the Blend Bunny shade in Truth from the original Blends palette and just blend this out a little bit. You know, it's okay to be gentle with yourself, and it's okay to be gentle with yourself and still tell yourself no. Like, you can do that. That is a thing, and it is difficult. It is very difficult, and it sometimes feels bad, especially at first if you're just starting to do that. But it's not like, you don't have to make yourself feel like a bad person, or like you don't deserve this, or like any of that kind of thing. Like, nothing about saying no to yourself has anything to do with your self-worth. I hope people can have a healthy relationship with themselves and with reaching the goals that they do have. Now, if your goal is that you want to try new things, and you have an allotted budget each month, or specifically for sale time, versus just going crazy, going wild, and then next month looking at how much you spent and then being like, oh my god, I need to go in a low buy, or oh my gosh, I need to like make up this money somewhere else, or like, that is not healthy for yourself, for your own mental well-being, for future you. And trust me, I have been there, I have done the same thing. It is so easy to get into that mindset sometimes of just like punishing yourself, just like going crazy and then punishing yourself for going crazy. And before you do that this time, or maybe you already have, like maybe you've already gone a little crazy, gone a little wild, and participated in all these sales already, and those products will still be there. All these things will still be there in the future, potentially. Now, some brands can close down, and those products won't be there anymore potentially, but there will always be a new product for you. Like take this palette, for example. I really, really wanted this palette, and now I have this palette, and I think it's just okay. I think it's just okay. And how many products in your makeup collection, in your skincare collection, do you have like that? Where the things are just okay. They're just okay. And if you add them all up, how much money is that? I have a lot of money of things that are just okay. A lot. And that's fine. Like, for me, I accept that I did those things. I don't need to feel bad about it. And in the future, I might go a little crazy at some point again and do it again in the future, because that's just human nature. People just sometimes, you go a little, you do things and you don't think about it, and then you take a step back and you're like, oh my god, I didn't think about that. I didn't do the math there. But hopefully it becomes less and less as time goes on, to the point where you don't even think about the sales. Like, I didn't even think about the sales. I didn't even know the sales were going on until I went into Amazon, because every month me and my partner buy things from Amazon. I'm going to go in with the shade here, because we get a lot of our groceries in bulk from Amazon. Like, for example, we buy these giant 66-ounce cans of tuna, like a 5-pack of those every month, and then we eat that as our meal prep throughout the month. So like those kinds of things. And so I was just putting in our order for that, and I don't have it on Subscribe and Save. I don't have anything on Subscribe and Save, except for like, I have like some medicines for other family members that I pay for, and like I just have it on Subscribe and Save, and I don't have anything for myself on Subscribe and Save, just because maybe one month we can't afford to buy that, and I don't want to forget about it, so once we use our last can, I just go ahead and purchase another. But I didn't even know any of the sales are going on until I went into Amazon, and I noticed that they have their little banner of things on sale and blah blah blah, and I was like, wow, there's so much beauty products on sale. And I did think about replacing some of my beauty things For example, I have, where is it? For example, this thing, this little Urban Decay pencil in Demolition. This is almost gone, but I'm not going to. I think it's like $13 now instead of $26. I'm not going to buy it. I am going to use up this black one, and it's a little harsher. It's gonna be a different effect, slightly than the brown one, but all of these things are so slight. My partner is not gonna notice if I'm wearing this as my tight line versus the brown. Okay, my friends who know makeup aren't really gonna notice if I'm wearing this versus the brown. Now, I do have black hair. My eyelashes are black, so that helps, but I will buy a new one of those if I need it, if I use up all of that. And I will buy it full price, because if I like it that much, I should be willing to pay full price. Okay, now obviously buying it on sale would be really nice. It would be financially nice. But what if I don't want it by the end of that pencil? What if I want a different color? What if my style has changed? What if I don't even do tightline anymore by the time that's used up? You don't know. You're a changing person. You change all of the time, and your wants become different. And how many things have you had to throw away because you realized that you didn't want it anymore, or you had too much stuff, or like you were never going to get through it, and like all of that kind of thing. And you shouldn't feel bad about that kind of thing, but it should give you perspective, you know? I am really, really loving this eye look. I've been really into the purples and pinks lately. Ever since I got the Bella Beauté Bar Dead Roses palette in February, I have been loving the pink and purple looks. So gorgeous. And normally I wouldn't like a color like this because it's showing up really warm, but I'm loving it. I'm loving this look so much. I am going to finish up the eye look, and I will come back and keep doing my base, and yeah, I'll be right back. Right, this is the finished eye look for now. I might do a little more after my base is done, we'll see. But, also using Dennis & Meyrick's Yummy Skin in the shade 2. One of the things that also helped me to put into perspective how I wanted to start living my life or working towards the life that I desire was asking myself, you know, so I don't have kids and we're not planning on having kids anytime soon. But like, if I did have kids, would I want them to do these same actions that I am doing? Would I want that for them? Would I want them to date someone who takes actions like this, you know? And if you don't want to use a kid example because you're like, I'm never having kids ever, use like a sibling example. Use somebody that you care about more than maybe you care about yourself, okay? And when I'm talking about this, I'm not saying that, like, not you holistically as a person, because, you know, maybe you're a very, very good person, but maybe like one thing isn't great. Like maybe you do have some sort of addiction or some sort of habit that's maybe destructive towards other people in your life, potentially. Like a shopping addiction is potentially impacting other people besides you. Like it could affect your family, it affects your future self, your future financial stability, because if you don't have retirement or anything like that, you're going to be working your whole life, which is fine if that's what you want to do, but you also don't know what could happen, you know? Maybe it would be really convenient for you to not work your whole life. I got a notification. That's weird. And so when I am talking about this sort of thing of, you know, like, would you want somebody you care about to be with somebody or to have these characteristics. I'm just talking about very, very specific things like having a shopping addiction. Like probably I wasn't diagnosed with anything, but my bank account would show that I definitely had a spending problem at one point in my life before this channel, before, you know, I really honed everything in and started doing a project pan, low buy, no buy, that sort of thing. I'm looking a little pasty today for some reason. I'm gonna use this Dior foundation. It has a little more color. It's a little more warm than my actual skin tone, so it'll give me a little more life. But yeah, you can be a good person morally, and like a good mother, a good husband, or a good friend, a good any fill in the blank. You can be a good person and have addictive behaviors and addictive personality traits, or do things that maybe aren't great for everyone, because that's just normal. That's like normal human thing. For some people, you are an example and you have more impact sometimes than you realize. And so like if you do have kids, or you know, like you're an aunt or an uncle, or you know, you're surrounded by other people, your actions are going to be diffusing throughout whatever group of people you're in. And maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing, but so it's important to just be mindful that you are important. You are an important person, and your actions do affect other people. Maybe not right now, maybe not currently, but it could affect people in the future. And so that's an important thing to keep into consideration. And we're all doing our best. We're all trying our best, including you. And I don't know why I'm going into this rant about just encouraging you to be the best person that you can be and that you're an important person. I don't know why I'm saying all this, but I'm going to leave it in just because it is important. Sometimes you need that reminder, you know. But this is really just about the sales that are going on right now. So if you were planning on participating in the sales, just remember that if you had an initial budget that you wanted to stay within, to stick to it as much as you possibly can. Your future self will thank you. Maybe it's what your household needs. Who knows? Maybe, yeah, it might be something like that. Like, one thing I'm not participating in the sales right now is because our households cannot afford it. Well, okay, that's not true. We can afford it. We can't afford it in relation to everything else that we're doing financially. And that's an important distinction. Just because you have money in the bank doesn't mean that your financial goals align with doing a shopping spree or participating in the sales or buying whatever you want. Now, if you allot a certain amount of money each month to these things, then fine. Like, that's not a bad thing. But if you didn't allot any money to it and now you're spending money that you didn't initially plan to use and we're going to use it for something else that was important, like maybe it was investments, maybe it was a car, maybe it was saving for whatever, who knows? You know, you're not being your best friend right now. You're being your frenemy, okay? You're being your frenemy. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't be a frenemy, okay? Don't convince yourself to do one thing and then realize that you were working against your best interests on purpose. Like you were doing it on purpose. You know that you're doing it on purpose, okay? Don't be your frenemy, okay? There's enough of those in the world. You don't need to be your own, okay? With the blush, I think I'm gonna just go in with powder today, and I'm not going to use my liquid blushes. And I'll probably use a combo of this Fenty one and then this one. Probably this on the cheeks and then this diffusing up. So if you have not been your own best friend recently, try doing it during this sale. Try doing it during this sale. Yeah, the sales are good, but guess what? They're going to be here like 2 more times this year. Okay, at least 2 more times this year, because that's how often sales are happening now. Because people want your money. People do not want you to save money. Companies do not want you to save money. They want you to give it to them. Okay? Be your own best friend, okay? Have goals, or at least know what your goals are. If your goals are literally that you don't want to save any money, you know, that's fine. But like I said, you are a dynamic human being. You might change your mind one day. You might, around 50, you might be looking around and going, oh, originally I didn't want to save money or save for retirement, but retirement sounds really good. It's not too late, but it's going to be a lot more difficult. Okay, so it's fine, whatever life that you plan to live, just know that you might change your mind. You might change your mind, and that's fine. That's just how humans are. Humans change their minds all the time. It's normal. Oh no, this is a little, I need to diffuse this. It's okay, I'm just gonna go with this and then blend it out. So be your own best friend. Don't hit buy, don't hit checkout yet if you haven't already on any of the websites that you might be looking at sales from. Do the math, Maybe tell yourself no without making yourself feel bad. You're not a bad person. You are not a bad person for telling yourself no, okay? And you're not a bad person for telling yourself yes, but maybe you're not being your best friend. Maybe you're not being the friend that you need. Okay, time to pick a lip color. I already have an idea of what I'm doing. And it's the same thing that I always do. If I can find it. Wedding bells. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go with wedding bells. Yeah, I'm gonna go with wedding bells. All right, this is the finished look, guys. I am really, really loving it. It's so romantic. I really, really like it. But that concludes this video. I'm not saying that you should buy anything or shouldn't buy anything during these sales. There will always be another sale. In fact, there's going to be 2 more before the end of the year. So just keep that in mind, okay? And know your goals. Don't compromise on your goals. And, you know, be your own friend. Be your own best friend. Don't be your own frenemy, okay? Don't be a frenemy to yourself. Because people really do love you and care for you. And, you know, you probably want the people that you love to have habits and actions that you know that they want for themselves deep down, and maybe their actions are just, maybe there's just a lot of friction. Friction is very, very normal for people, for humans, and it's okay. It's okay to have friction, and you don't need to feel bad about having friction in your life. Just, you know, be your own best friend. Be your own best friend. So I hope you make the decisions that are best for you during these sales. Personally, I'm not going to be buying anything, but that's just me. Maybe next time. Maybe in a couple years I will. You know, we'll see. But anyways, I hope you enjoy this look, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.